Okay, so here's a little video for including a Desmos graph into a report. So suppose I've made a graph and I have some things over here like the y equal x squared, and so I may want all of it or part of it or something like that. But there I've made the graph, and here I've made the report, and I say notice the parabola shape in figure 1, and then here's my caption for figure 1, and I want to put figure 1 right in here. So what is it I need to do? Okay, so I'll come back here to my graph. Now there are some things, for instance in Desmos, that could make this a little better. For one, I could go here to the settings and go to projector mode and notice how it makes everything just a little bit bigger and more noticeable and so forth. And then another thing I can do is, well, if I really want to concentrate on the graph, I don't need all this white space over here. I can grab inside here and slide this back and forth to help me out. I guess that's as far left as it will go, and I can if I really want to concentrate on the graph for this part, I can kind of center it now like that. Now another thing I can do is I can make all of this bigger within my browser to start with before I capture the picture. So let me go to my keyboard. So here's my keyboard, and to just make everything bigger to start with, I want to use a control key. So this is control, or over here is control. A control key and the plus will make everything bigger. So here I'm going to do it once, showing the keyboard. So I hold the control key and I come in here and I hit plus, and what that does is it will make my screen bigger, the image bigger in the browser. If I do control and minus, so the minus key right there, I can make that image smaller. And so let me go back here, and at least in my browser, I'm using Firefox. If I hit control plus, up here, notice in my case it says 110%. That's just a relative thing. I mean, I could leave it on 200% all the time if I thought it looked better that way for me. But so I can make it much bigger. Now I'm getting less of the graph, so at some point I have to decide how much I want, and I still can't make this any smaller to the left. This may be overkill, so I could do a control minus, and maybe I decide this is what looks best. And so here's my picture. Okay, so I've gotten everything in Desmos. I've messed with Desmos the way I could. I put it into projector mode to make it brighter and fuller. I messed with the browser here and made things bigger. And I think, okay, that's looks pretty good, I think, as to how I want to do this. And again, I can size the cells versus the graph here within reason, and I went with as much graph as I could get. Okay, so I've messed with that way, and so now I need to capture this. Well, back to the keyboard. Now, some computers, some operating systems are a little different than others. In this case, I'm using Linux actually, but this works the same in Linux as it does in a PC, a Windows 10 or something like that. And again, we need the control key, one of these two. So, either this control key here or over here, control key. And then I also need the print screen key. And what that does is it will just do like a copy, just as if you were to ask to copy something. What it copies is everything on the screen. And so, for instance, if I do it right now while we're looking at this, I hold down the control key and I come up here and hit print screen. Notice the screen sort of flashed, and I don't know if you could hear it or not. I think you probably could. It made a camera clicking sound, a shutter sound. And so just now I copied this picture. Well, it's not the picture I want, but we'll get to there. Now I come back to my document, and if I just do a paste at this point, now I could do it this way, paste, then it takes a minute, but there is my screen, and it's in my document now, and you see it's right where I wanted it. But that's not the picture I wanted. But it's that simple to get a picture of your screen. Now Macs, they may use the command key instead of the control key. That's what Google is for. So again, if you're having trouble, well, we can go here and I can add something here, and well, I'll go to home. For Google, for me, I could have just entered it up there, but screen capture Mac. How about that? Right there. And I do that, and sure enough, see, there's the command key. Take a screenshot on your Mac, Apple support. How to record the screen on your Mac. Mac screenshots. This is what search engines are for, and there we go. We can figure out how to do it on a Mac. We can figure out how to do it on a PC. We can figure out how to do it on a Chromebook. You name it, Google will have it, and just go looking for it. Okay, so let's see. Back to my document. I need to get rid of this picture. So I don't want that one. It's currently highlighted, so I'll just say delete and it's gone. And now I'll go to the picture I want, this picture, and I'll say, you can't see it this time, but I'll do my control and the print screen, and it did it again. It made the little flash, and it made the clicking sound. Now in here I do paste. Now another way to do paste is holding a control key and V, control V. I'm not sure if I try to do it here. I don't know that it would do anything because I'm not in the document. But so here, I could go here with a right click and say paste. I could go up here to edit and say paste. But notice there's the control plus a V, so control and V, and I'm going to do that control V, and it takes a moment, but there is the picture. Now, this isn't bad, but again, it's kind of big, and there are some things I don't need. I don't need, the window decoration stuff up here. If I'm adding this for our class, a Desmos graph, I really do need to leave this stuff up here so that you're signed in, but I don't need my navigation stuff over here. Now most word processors have a way to crop things. Now I'm using LibreOffice, and in my case there's this icon here that's for crop image. And if I click on that, it changes the rectangles here at the middles and corners of this thing, and what happens is if I grab this and drag it in, it will get rid of whatever I don't want there. Now what's interesting is it's not gone forever. If I pull it back, it's there again. So if my dog hits my hand or something while I do this, it's fine. So I get rid of that, and I get rid of this all the way down to here. So you know, that looks a little better. Now it's interesting, notice that right now I'm below here, but that will be okay if it didn't put it exactly where you want it. So, you know, this looks pretty good. I suppose you know, as long as, now this just says log in or sign up, my name's not showing, but if my name is here, you know, I suppose I could pull it all the way over to my name if I wanted to. That part not as big a deal, but that's helpful. And maybe if I didn't want this stuff down here, although from a copyright point of view and sources and so forth, leaving the little powered by Desmos icon in here when possible, when it makes sense, not a bad idea, and it doesn't really hurt the graph. So in this case, I'm leaving it there. Okay, so there I did all the cropping and so forth that I want to do. So I'm just going to click outside of it, and it's no longer has those rectangles. Now it's not in the right place, so I need to move it. But it's also, I think, still just a little bit bigger than I want. So if I click on it again, I have these little small green rectangles. If I grab a corner, it should bring everything in at the same sort of ratios. And there, you know, I made it a little bit smaller, and I can still read the y equal x squared very, very well. I can still see the graph very, very well. And so now I just want to put it up here. And notice it did some weird stuff. Well, you know, you need to be able to work with your word processor. So I hit enter. I just keep hitting enter. I'm not sure. Actually, I've never had it do that before, but there we go. And I got it where I wanted it. Now, this figure, I might want that centered, so, you know, I might highlight that and go find the center of the text here. Center that. The picture, I can kind of center that either, you know, by eyeballing it. Now that I've centered my text, you know, I could kind of go like this and say, okay, that looks pretty darn good. And there you have it. There I've got a very nice readable figure. I can see everything in it. I've given it a little caption. I've pointed out that, you know, whatever I'm talking about, you know, look in figure 1 for it. And there we go. And that is how I can include a Desmos figure into my document. The big deal is, you know, I mean, you want to make it readable within Desmos, but then to capture it from your computer screen, you just need that control key on a PC anyway, and the print screen. And on the Mac, you'll use your command key, and I think also a print screen, but we didn't look at that. You know, here we have it again, right? So there's command. It says press and hold these 3 keys together, Shift, Command, and 4. There you go. So there's a Mac. Okay, so I don't have a command key on my keyboard, but let's pretend my Windows key is a command key. Then I guess what I would need to do is I would have to come here and do my command key, which will pretend it's that one. Command, I would need to hold the shift, so what I'd probably do is hold the 2 of those together, and then I would come up here and hit the 4 to do it. It won't do anything on my computer, but on your Mac it would do just fine. It appears anyway, according to Google. And so there you go. We can make our picture look like we want it, and then we can do our screen capture to get that into a document. Okay, we'll call that one done.